In this chapter, Phil Town explains what he considers the core skill of rule number 1 investing: learning how to calculate the sticker price of a business. The sticker price is also known as intrinsic value or fair value, but Phil prefers the term sticker price because it reinforces the idea that every business has a reasonable price, just like a car on a dealership lot, even if the market rarely sells it at that price. The key idea of this chapter is simple but powerful. Businesses are not pieces of paper. They are living operations that produce money over time. The real value of a business is not what the stock market says today, but how much money that business can generate for its owners in the future. The sticker price is your best estimate of what that future earning power is worth today. To calculate the sticker price, Phil shows that you only need 4 numbers. These numbers allow you to project what the business might be worth 10 years from now, and then work backward to determine the maximum price you should pay today. The first number is the company's current earnings per share. Earnings per share simply means how much profit the company makes for each share of stock. This number is usually reported as the trailing 12 months earnings per share, meaning the profits generated over the last year. This is our starting point because future earnings grow from today's earnings. The second number is the estimated earnings growth rate. This tells us how fast earnings are likely to grow over the next 10 years. Phil emphasizes that the most reliable indicator of future growth is not past earnings growth, but past equity growth. Equity represents the net value of the business after all debts are subtracted. When equity grows consistently, it shows that the company is generating surplus cash year after year, which is what ultimately makes a business valuable. A company that grows its equity is increasing what it can eventually pay out to its owners. To be conservative, Phil compares historical growth rates with professional analysts' estimates and uses the lower of the two. The goal is not to be optimistic, but to avoid fooling yourself. If estimating growth feels like guessing, that alone disqualifies the business as a rule number 1 investment. The third number is the future price-to-earnings ratio, often called the price-earnings multiple. This number represents how much the market is willing to pay for $1 of earnings. Phil uses a simple rule of thumb. The future price-to-earnings ratio is roughly double the expected growth rate. So if a company is expected to grow earnings at 10% per year, a reasonable future price-to-earnings ratio might be around 20. However, this estimate must always be compared to the company's historical price-to-earnings ratio, and the lower of the two numbers is used to stay conservative. The fourth and final number is the minimum acceptable rate of return. Rule number 1, investors require a minimum return of 15% per year. This number is not arbitrary. It is high enough to beat inflation, taxes, and mistakes, but still realistic for high-quality businesses bought at the right price. Once you have these 4 numbers, the math itself is surprisingly simple. Phil uses the rule of 72 to make the calculations easy to understand. The rule of 72 says that if you divide 72 by a growth rate, you get the number of years it takes for something to double. For example, if earnings grow at 24% per year, they will double roughly every 3 years. Since rule number 1 investors think in 10-year time horizons, Phil asks how many times earnings would double over 10 years. At roughly 3 years per doubling, earnings would double about 3 times. $1 of earnings would become about $8 in 10 years. That future earnings figure is then multiplied by the future price-to-earnings ratio to estimate the company's future market price. From there, you work backward to today. At a 15% annual return, money doubles about every 5 years. Over 10 years, that means 2 doublings. 2 doublings equal a 4-fold increase. So, to find the sticker price today, you simply divide the estimated future price by 4. And then comes one of the most important rules of all. You never pay the sticker price. You always demand a margin of safety. Rule number 1, investors want to buy $1 of value for 50 cents. That means you divide the sticker price in half and only buy if the market price is at or below that number. The deeper lesson of this chapter is that investing with confidence comes from knowing your numbers before you look at the stock price. Just like buying a car, you determine what something is worth first and only then decide whether the price is attractive. When you buy with a large margin of safety, you protect yourself from mistakes, economic downturns, and unexpected business problems. By the end of this chapter, the sticker price becomes more than a calculation. It becomes a mindset. You stop reacting to market noise and start thinking like a business owner. You wait patiently for wonderful businesses to go on sale, and when they do, you act decisively, knowing that the math, the discipline, and the margin of safety are all working in your favor.